All right, so we are still with the same topic, knowledge management landscape. Let's take a look at what is knowledge storage. Yeah, before we continue further, still under knowledge management value chain. As far as knowledge storage is concerned, management must support development of planned knowledge storage system. So as we have been discussing all this while, when there is a system, there must be a storage. To encourage development of corporate-wide schemes for indexing documents, right? To keep all our documents online. This is also audit requirement where you need to keep everything online, should be accessible within certain period of time, is per the audit requirement. And then we also need to reward employees for taking time to update and store documents properly. So to support the audit, normally what we do, we digitalize all our documents. So if possible, try not to use any paper or offline documents. And today the requirement is to store or to keep everything online into the database. So that is also part of the what we call knowledge storage. Let's move on with what we call knowledge dissemination. Includes training programs, informal networks within the organization, and shared management experience, which will be very helpful to the managers, line managers, operational managers, middle management team to focus attention on important knowledge and information. So this is also will be stored in the knowledge storage where anyone required as per the audit requirement or for any other standard practices as part of the SOP day-to-day operational requirement should be able to assess the required knowledge within the time period. The next value in the value chain is what we call knowledge application. To provide a return on investment, ROI, organizational knowledge must become systematic part of management decision making and become situated in decision support system. So we must make sure the content or the management that we have digitalized, uploaded into the storage, accessible online on real time or online basis, can be used to meet the objective, which is ROI for the organization, right? So that is what we call knowledge management in terms of supporting management in decision making and also part of the decision support system. So what you can see in your next slide is the infographic information about the knowledge management landscape in a very high level, where it shows you the knowledge management value chain from the moment you have all the modules where you acquire knowledge discovery, data mining, neural network, genetic algorithm, knowledge workstation, expert knowledge network, and we collect all this data. We transform the data into information and knowledge by storing those information and knowledge into a proper storage as part of the document management system, knowledge databases, or expert system. And with all this data, information, and knowledge available, we disseminate those data, information, and knowledge as intranet portals, using structures such as intranet portals or push email reports, or even through search engine over the websites or through collaboration, right? And we will be able to use systems such as decision support systems or enterprise application system to meet the needs to disseminate the information into the required people or users. So please go through this entire knowledge management value chain, which we have been discussing for the past few slides. Try to understand how the information value management chain works, and all the details are in this particular slide. So if you need any further help or explanation, please come back to me, right? Okay, we're going to look at some people or organizational roles and responsibilities of your resources who are involved directly or indirectly in knowledge management system. One of the important person where you cannot find this person in all companies except in huge or in large organization, who is known as a Chief Knowledge Officer, CKO. He normally will be a senior executive person responsible for firm's knowledge management program, helps in design system to find new sources of knowledge and better utilize existing knowledge. So normally you will be a very senior staff who has many years of experience and skill in a very particular or specialized area or areas to fulfill the requirement or the needs of the business. And you will be a very important person to plan, organize, even to create, to manage, to maintain the entire knowledge management landscape. Next, we have who we call communities of practice, COPs, where they are informal social networks of professionals and employees within and outside firm who have similar work-related activities and interests. So this can be anyone, or sometimes we do call professionals. They can be part of the organization or even outsiders for the same purpose. Activities carried out by them include such as for educational purpose, online newsletters creation or publication, sharing experiences and techniques through white papers, any write-up, journals, blogs, wikis, and so on. This community of practices also facilitate reuse of knowledge, discussion, learning curve of new employees, including training of new employees, briefing, coaching, and guiding new employees for the same purpose. Even introducing the system, the knowledge management system, to all employees will be part of their responsibility, through the training required. There are three major types of knowledge management system to be discussed here. Even in some organization or firm, there will be more than this, but at a very high general level, these are the three. One is known as a enterprise-wide knowledge management system. So as the name goes by, it is a wide knowledge management system throughout the enterprise. It is for general purpose firm-wide efforts to collect, store, distribute, and apply digital content and knowledge for the whole firm. Next, we have a knowledge management system which is known as a knowledge work system. This could be a very specialized system built for knowledge workers. Maybe it is for a very specialized group, a group of staff who have been selected for some purpose, some project, for a very specialized project, and so on. In charge in discovering and creating new knowledge for a company. So not necessarily everyone, but just for some specialized or selected group of people or staff. Next type of knowledge management system that we have is known as intelligent techniques. Diverse group of techniques such as data mining used for various goals, where we use the data for discovering knowledge, distill knowledge, discovering optimal solutions, and so on. So in these intelligent techniques will be used by this group of people, where they will be involved in collecting data, cleaning the data, and transforming the data into meaningful information and into knowledge as part of the knowledge system or content management system for to meet the various goals as what we have just discussed. So these are the three major types of knowledge management system that you can find generally within any firms. So those three major types of knowledge management systems are displayed again in the infographic format with the information or details that we have just discussed, and they also have provided some examples for you over here to consider which system they belong to. For example, structured knowledge system. Structured knowledge system is under the category of enterprise-wide knowledge management system. Semi-structured or knowledge network system. All these are huge system which comes under the category of enterprise-wide knowledge management system. Whereas like a CAD, or what we call computer-aided design, 3D visualization, VR, virtual reality, these are some of the examples that comes under the category of knowledge work system. Very specialized system for a very specific industry or area. Whereas like systems such as data mining, related to data mining, neural networks, expert systems, case-based reasoning related system, fuzzy logic, genetic-based algorithm kind of systems, where some system might be using intelligent agents for some very specialized automated tasks. Those are the systems or components known as intelligent techniques, will be part of the third type of knowledge management system, which is known as a intelligent based system or techniques. So if you look into the very first enterprise-wide knowledge management system, which consists of structured knowledge system, where this system are basically equipped with formal documents because it is very structured, very organized, will be fully equipped with formal documents as per the requirement to meet the audit requirement or business requirement. Whereas the semi-structured knowledge system, it consists of formal document plus any other documents such as documents from email, voicemail, memos, brochures, digital pictures, bulletin boards, and any other unstructured documents, right? So that's the reason why it is known as a semi-structured knowledge system. Whereas the knowledge network, which is also another example of enterprise-wide knowledge management system, it could be based on network knowledge, such as tacit related knowledge, where it can be the expertise of some individuals, where they work in a very specialized area, very specialized tasks to meet the business need, and so we call this as a knowledge network, which sometimes is quite difficult to be documented structuredly or formally, it will be their skill or their practices on daily basis, which can be documented to some extent but not fully. Sometimes it is quite difficult. Reason is depends on the expertise or the subject matter expert of that particular individual. This could be applied to very high level or so-called complicated environments, such as maybe medical related exercises or practices, real time, for example pilots maybe, or some other high risk, uh, based on experience and situation. You apply some standard practices or unexpected, undocumented kind of expertise required for that such situation can be considered as a knowledge network, and this can be the part of the enterprise-wide knowledge management system. What you can see in your next slide is how these enterprise-wide knowledge management systems are presented, where you can see data and information generation. Then we have the storage, the other important component of the knowledge management system, and also how we disseminate knowledge and application of the knowledge. So as you can see, you have the enterprise system. An example which I have shared with all of you previously, we have ERP system, supply chain management system, CRM system, websites, and so on. Some could be based on Oracle, some could be based on SAP, IBM, and so on. And then we have the databases, where it consists of the structured documents and unstructured documents, such as email, discussion board, blogs, and so on. Then we have the supporting technologies portal, search engine, communication and collaboration tools, learning management systems. All these makes up the what we call enterprise-wide knowledge management system. In the next slide, what is written is some of the essential problem in managing structured knowledge. I'm going to skip through this slide. Please read through yourself, and if there is any questions or methods to bring it up, please bring it up in the second session of our discussion. Reason I have a long list of slides to cover, and what you can see in the next slide is a example of how KPMG's World or K-World managing some of the major accounting and consulting firms, managing their structured document and case-based reports. Also available in the infographic format, how the K-World knowledge domains is represented in the form of knowledge management system. Semi-structured knowledge, as we have discussed earlier, all the digital information in a firm that does not exist in a formal document or formal report is known as a semi-structured knowledge. So anything beside the structured document, formal document, we call semi-structured knowledge. Track, store, and organize semi-structured document as well as more structured traditional document. An example is given. Text leaf link is an example, for semi-structured. And same, they have given you one slide of an example of the ECM eDocs, integrated knowledge management system, as an example. Please, as usual, go through this slide, and if you need further help, please come back to me. What you can see in the next slide is a interactive session for you to brainstorm with your friends. They have given you some questions to be considered. Next, we're going to look at how information can be, or the knowledge can be organized using a method which is known as a taxonomy and tagging, where document repositories require correct classification and taxonomy in order to retrieve document at later date. So those who are involved in audit, you are very familiar with these procedures, where all the policies, or what we call company policies, normally will be documented formally and will be given numbers. We call policy numbers or document numbers for reference, and these policy numbers or document numbers follows certain format which will be known as a taxonomy and tagging procedures. It is actually a scheme for classifying information and knowledge in such a way that it can be easily assessed, mainly for the audit purpose. So there are some details that for you to go through what it is all about, organizing knowledge, and I'm very sure some of you are quite familiar. For those who are involved in the audit or have been involved in the audit, this is not new to you. So please read through the rest of the details on that slide. Next, we're going to look at knowledge network system, the third type of major category of wide content management system or knowledge management system, which is known as a knowledge network system, which provide online directory of corporate expert in well-defined knowledge domain. Remember, it was for a very specialized group of people or selected staff of people. So it provides online directory for this group of people related to the well-defined knowledge domain. And normally they use communication technologies to make it easy for employees to find appropriate expert in a company. All right. Examples, there are many examples available in today's world. Some of the examples that you can find over the internet is such as Ask Me, incorporated software, find something. For example, we have Find Doctors now. All these knowledge network systems have been developed over the many years by a group of specialized people, not only in one industry, but it is become common now that all industries are trying to have something similar, where they develop a database of employee expertise and know-how, document supported by best practices and frequently asked questions. So there are many over the internet today, which helps the users, public, and even specialized group to look for solution. An example of Ask Me Enterprise Knowledge Network system is being displayed in the next slide. Please run through the slide and try to understand it, how it works. It's maybe quite familiar for some of you. It's not that complicated. It is how or quite similar to what is available over the web system or web-based system. Talking about some of the supporting technologies such as portals, collaboration tools, and learning management system. So these are some of the tools available that can be used by this group of people for meeting the business requirement in terms of having the knowledge management or content management system. Today most of the companies are using the social media platform such as blogs, internet, intranet, extranet, or even other social media platforms such as wikis, social bookmarking, Instagram, Facebooks, and so on for the purpose. And the other tool that is available for some industries or popular among some industries, like in educational institution, where a system which is known as a learning management system, or in short form LMS, which provide tools for management, for delivery, tracking, and assessment of various types of employee learning and training. So this become very popular and it is like a must. For example, like what we are using now, Moodle is an example of LMS system. Beside Moodle, we do have many other web-based learning management systems such as Blackboard, uh, and there are many, over the internet. Just to name a few, for the as enterprise-wide knowledge management system. Next in your slide is another interactive session related to technology, and then you can look into some of the questions that they have posted, very much related to social bookmarking. So please go through this slide in your next session during the open discussion. As usual, run through all these details in this slide. Reason the number of slides for this session is quite huge, so I need to catch up if possible a couple of more slides. Knowledge work system, which is systems for knowledge workers to help create knowledge and ensure that knowledge is properly integrated into business. Like what we discussed earlier, this is a specialized group of people who will be selected in order to develop the knowledge-based system for that particular business. Who are the knowledge workers? They can be researchers, designers, architects, scientists, and engineers who primarily involved in creating knowledge and information for the organization. So they can be the data collector, feedback, or provide required information and transforming them into knowledge so that the knowledge system will be operational and provide knowledge or information required by the management team in order to make decision. Three critical roles of these knowledge workers are keeping organization current in knowledge, serving as internal consultants regarding their areas of expertise, and acting as change agent and evaluating, initiating, and promoting change project. So these will be three main critical roles beside a long list of their roles in carrying themselves as knowledge workers. Yeah, in the process of creating what we call knowledge management system or content management system for that particular company. Some of the requirement of the knowledge work systems include such as where these knowledge workers need to be trained so that they are equipped with specialized knowledge work system, and they also need to be exposed or trained in in using some very specialized computing or software, especially when it is related to graphic, complex calculation, and related areas, such as when they need to do powerful graphic and data analytical tools or work, for example. for the purpose of communicating and document management capabilities. They need to be equipped and trained and make sure they have that skill required. Access to external databases for some business requirement if required. User-friendly interfaces, in creating user-friendly interfaces for the system so that the system can be easily used for the required purpose. And next, optimize for tasks to be performed, especially when related to design, engineering, financial analysis. Just to quote some examples. These are the requirements of the knowledge work system. And of course, there are many more minor requirements of the knowledge work systems where this staff need to be specifically trained so that they will be equipped with that required skills in creating, maintaining, and delivering the knowledge within the knowledge management system. Examples of knowledge work systems like what we have discussed earlier, which I have mentioned to you. So please run through the details of this slide, such as the CAD system, VR system, VRML system, investment workstations, and so on. When come to the intelligent technique, the third type of content management or knowledge management system, which is known as the intelligent technique, to capture the tacit knowledge, because they are very specialized or focus group in order to have information, for example, for the expert system, case-based reasoning system or fuzzy logic, in creating neural network, and for the purpose of data mining, in order to create generic algorithm or genetic algorithm, in order to create intelligent agents. Especially this is quite popular in today's world, where most of the apps or systems are being equipped with AI technology. So this intelligent technique will be a very high in demand moving forward, where it requires a very specialized group of people who are involved in systems such as expert system, moving on, AI based system, data analytic kind of system, requires input and support and skills and knowledge from these people to equip the enterprise knowledge management system to be fully functional. In the next couple of slides, what we're going to discuss is how the expert system works. Generally, some of you may be familiar with this. It is a system where there are set of hundreds or thousands of rules or conditions built in, and then there will be an engine, what we call inference engine, which will use these rules or condition based on some strategy to search for the right solution, based on the data or information that is available in that what we call database, in that database. How this inference engine works, basically using some strategies such as forward chaining, which begins with information entered by user and searches knowledge base to arrive at conclusion, or backward chaining, begins with hypothesis and asks user question until hypothesis is confirmed or disapproved. So these are some of the very high level concept that these intelligent systems or the search engine or the inference engine works in order to provide you with the answers that you're looking for. And who are the people involved in creating and making this system works are known as knowledge engineer, as we discussed earlier. So in the next slide, you can see how these rules in expert systems are being applied. They have picked up one example for you to go through it. So please run through this slide in your second session of open discussion so that you will have some understanding, on how an example of rules where I used to say hundreds or thousands of rules built over the long period of time to make your system smarter and smarter, so that the system itself, what we say, learn over the time in making good decision or smart decision. Also, what you can see in the next slide is how the engine in the expert system works based on the rules and data and information available within the system in order to make decision. Some examples are given on some successful expert system for you to read through over the next 1 hour, and can be used as a reference for you to understand better all about the enterprise or content management or knowledge management system. What you can see in the slide now is what we call case-based reasoning system, or CBR, another type of knowledge management system for a particular case. For a particular case. Example, medical diagnostic system, customer support system. So it all depends on your business requirement. So what the senior management or the expert groups will do is, based on the business need, they will form a team of selected people who have certain or specialized expertise, and they will start building this system over a period of time. It can be months or years, and then we'll use it, following the knowledge management change in order to meeting the business requirement. An example of how case-based reasoning works is given in the next slide. As usual, go through this slide and try to understand it later on. Next, what you can see as another example of intelligent technique is fuzzy logic system. Again, as I have explained to you, it is based on rules that has been created by the experts, by the people with a special skill, by using some algorithm, for example, if then rules, in order to create the system to make it works accordingly. And sometimes this kind of fuzzy logic system has been developed and they have migrated into certain devices. For example, one area where we can see is the washing machine, or some electrical devices where you can see it is using fuzzy logic. So basically, some rules based on if then else rules, the system works accordingly, and it works the same way all the time, unless there are some unexpected cases. Either the system will go into a mood where you need to reset, or into some other mood. Otherwise, it works following the rules that have been created and tested over many years or time, or number of times in creating the expert system or the fuzzy logic system. An example of fuzzy logic rules in hardware, especially related to, for example, the membership function for the input called temperature, yeah, are created. So these are standard rules based on if then else statements. Next, what you can see in the slide is known as a neural network. Another types of data analytic system, where in this system they use it to find patterns and relationship using massive amounts of data that are too complicated for human to analyze. Yeah, huge amount of data. Sometimes it runs into hundreds of thousands of records over many years of data collection. So sometimes it is very difficult for the human being to process it or to analyze. Then we use systems, like I did mention once. We have systems such as SAS based system, which are capable of using huge amount of data to create patterns or to make some decision for the human being to understand easily, so that they can take action based on learned patterns by searching for certain relationship, or by the system helping in building models and correcting over and over again whatever mistakes available in that model before it can be used as a knowledge management system or content management system. So these neural networks are quite popular in the area of medicine, science and businesses, especially when come to address problems in pattern classification or pattern recognition, prediction, financial analysis, and control and optimization of the requirements. Okay, with that, the next slide you can see is how a neural network works. Please run through this in your own sessions. We do have another example of intelligent system, genetic algorithm, which you can run through and understand some of the components in the genetic algorithm, just for your knowledge. And also we do have what we call hybrid AI system, combination of those systems that we discussed earlier. And also we have what we call intelligent agents, which are very popular in today's AI system, AI based system. Okay, so you have